Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life, subtitled Who Killed Our Voices? I would estimate there are approximately 25% of our population losing their respective voices. They have nodules, polyps, contact ulcers of the vocal cords. Those are benign growths. They have premalignancies, papillomatosis, keratosis, leukoplakia. There are a lot of problems with our voices. There are bad and raspy voices all over the dial, and you hear them and you wonder, is that the way the individual was born? No, they weren't born, and the body snatchers, the invasion of the body snatchers did not result in the bad raspy voices or in these benign and premalignancy growths of the vocal cords. You may find it strange that we do it to ourselves. Of course, that's in question because my medical colleagues, I was at UCLA for 8 years on the staff and faculty, and then ran the voice and speech clinic for the head and neck division that ran all the voice and speech services at UCLA Medical Center. The problem with our voices is that we unknowingly create our own problems. Robbie Burns said, "We're God to give us the gift to see ourselves as others see us." I switched it just a bit and gave him credit for it, which is, I understand, unusual. We're God to give us the gift to hear ourselves as others hear us. We talk like that. We talk like this.
We talk like that.
We have all kinds of strange sounds. We presume that those strange sounds are us, and it is our vocal identity, our image, that dictates to us because we've used bad, raspy, inadequate voices for years and years. We presume that those voices are us. The question I ask of you, is the voice that you have your real voice? Is your voice failing? Do you have trouble being heard? People ask you to repeat yourself. There is a book that just came out by myself and my colleague, Dr. John Curtis, called Curing Hopeless Voices. Spasmodic dysphonia, the strangled voice.
Hey, you can't talk, you're talking like that.
And it's very, very frightening to listen to people who have that voice. They are told by my medical colleagues and my academician associates, there is no hope, it's incurable. I differ with them, and the book is about the fact there are cures. I report cures, ongoing cures for 35 years. My medical colleagues and academicians do not report a single cure ever of the strangled voice. They're also of the view that papillomatosis, a premalignancy, is due to a virus, and Ullman in 1923 was of that view. Ullman had part of the picture, but not the whole picture. A virus does not cause papillomatosis per se. It leads to the growth of that premalignancy, because when you have a virus, or you have a cold, or you have the flu, or you have bronchitis, or you have pneumonia, you begin to talk down here, because it's very exhausting to keep your voice up in the face where all good and great voices are, and that's the saving grace. The body snatchers didn't come and take your voice from you. They didn't snatch your voice. You don't realize that you drop into the lower throat. I did a study for my dissertation back in 1964, a few years ago, and showed that premalignancies called papillomatosis are associated and related to voice misuse. My medical colleagues and academicians believe it's due to a virus that Ullman said in 1923. The virus can cause you to drop into the lower throat It's not only to create premalignancies, it can create nodules, polyps, contact ulcers. It can create all kinds of bad and raspy voices and can leave you stranded with an impaired voice. If Steve Krager could put the scream on so you get the idea of what this is all about. Steve, can we have the scream? And if we can't, we'll pick it up in a moment. But the scream says what I have in mind, that we are driving the car with a full brake on. We are driving it in the wrong gear. We're going in reverse. And then we're saying to the mechanic, there's something wrong with the car. If you told that to the mechanic and you had the full brake on and you had it in reverse and said the car doesn't go forward, he would have thoughts about you and concerns about what you're doing. But you will go to doctors, medical doctors, and you will tell them, your voice is not all there. You can't talk. Your throat aches. On the screen, there is a book called Stop Committing Voice Suicide. It's in the library. It's free. And the symptoms of what's happening to your voice are on the front page, the cover. There are a lot of symptoms. I'll make you a wager that you have a sizable number of those symptoms. It hurts to talk. Your voice is failing. You can't talk for a long time. You can't project your voice. People ask you, what did you say? Could you repeat yourself? It's painful to talk. These are just part of the symptoms of when you are talking wrong. The invasion of the body snatchers did not snatch your voice. You did, unknowingly. Join with me on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life, subtitled, Who Killed Our Voices? In good faith, with great compassion, the drug companies are now trying to tell us that our failing voices are due to acid reflux. Merck sponsored the study, I believe it was in 1992, saying that bad and raspy voices are caused by acid reflux. I've been in practice for a long, long period of time, 45 years in the field. I've asked people who are on acid reflux drugs, has it helped their bad raspy voice? Has it helped their strangled voice? It's called spasmodic dysphonia. Has it helped their premalignancies, papillomatosis, keratosis, leukoplakia? And the answer keeps coming back to me, week after week, month after month. No, it hasn't helped. But the doctors are of the view, because they know about the Merck study and are convinced that your failing voice is due to acid reflux, so they put you on acid reflux drugs. The problem is that they're on the wrong road. They're well-intentioned, they're compassionate, but they have the wrong take on why our voices fail. Who killed our voices? We have killed our voices. We. And how do we do that? We do it by talking in the lower throat. 99% of all bad raspy voices, 99% I would say, are caused by talking deep throat. Deep throat. You're talking in the lower throat. That's the kiss of death, bête-moi. And you're doing it. If you put your hand around your neck, you will feel if you have a bad raspy voice or if you have an impaired voice of any kind. You will feel the great tension in your lower throat. Your lower throat should be relaxed when you're talking. It has laryngeal resonance because it's named after the larynx. And you're producing that laryngeal resonance, which is very natural, but you're squeezing it. You're forcing it. You're squeezing it like this. And as soon as I did that, I can feel the tension in my lower throat. You want to talk up in your face where all good and great voices are. That's the saving grace. If you have an impaired voice of any kind, you want to get your voice up in your face, and they're very simple techniques to do it. They're so simple, they're mind-boggling, but they're not medical. Think about this. If you just hum the first bar of Happy Birthday, just hum it. You'll feel a buzz up in your face. Just hum it simply. I don't want you to sing it. I just want you to hum it. You'll feel a buzz up in your face. And that's the saving grace. That's where you should be talking. You should be talking off that buzz. How do you do that? Very simple. You say throughout the day. If you just say spontaneously and sincerely, you'll get that buzz. You will get a natural tingle, ring, and buzz in your face. It's that simple. But my medical colleagues are not aware of natural self-help. If you want to try it, you can feel it for yourself, and you can get the idea of what I'm telling you. There's another book called Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. It's in the library. It's not a cent to be spent. Not a cent. And it's in the 19th printing. It was with HarperCollins for 12 years. And it tells you how to self-help your voice if you have an impaired voice. And 25% of us, I estimate, have impaired voices, bad, raspy voices. We have nodules, polyps, contact ulcers. These growths come from misuse of the voice, squeezing the vocal cords, squeezing them. And we're squeezing laryngeal resonance. That's the kiss of death. It's a bête noire. What you want to do is place your voice up in your face. And you can feel the buzz. You can hear it. And then talk on that buzz. But you can't go around in society humming the first bar of Happy Birthday. Not necessarily. But you can go around saying, and I could feel the buzz up here. It's a tingle. It makes my nose itch. And that will go away when you practice on the technique. I developed that way back in 1962. It's used around the world. It's something that will give you back the sense of your voice identity. The invasion of the body snatchers did not create your problem for your voice. You did it. It's because if you compare it metaphorically, analogously, if you compare it to driving in the car with a full brake on, in reverse, and no gas in the tank, and telling the mechanic there's something wrong with the car, he's going to wonder about you. But if you go to your medical doctor, he's going to tell you it's acid reflux. I think that's a very strange concept. But as I mentioned before, Merck is a very powerful drug company, and they have come out with a study which says that bad, raspy voices and strangled voices, called spasmodic dysphonia, are due to acid reflux. I disagree with them. There's another answer to it, and it's a very simple one. You're talking wrong, and you can change it. All naturally, simply, and directly. Join with me on Who Killed Our Voices. If you have a cold or bronchitis, or you have the flu or pneumonia, any of these conditions can bring your voice down into the lower throat. And you can feel your voice failing and giving out, and it's very effortful to use your voice when you talk in the lower throat. People can't hear you. They don't understand what you're saying. They ask you to repeat yourself. When you do, you begin to get aches and pains in your lower throat. You look to the medical doctor to help you to overcome this, and the medical doctor is not trained in practical use of the voice. It's as simple as that. So they're going to give you a drug, and they're going to tell you possibly it's acid reflux, although you may say you don't have acid reflux. They're going to tell you it's asymptomatic or invisible. The best way of finding out if you do have acid reflux is a pH study, a 24-hour pH study, and it verifies do you have acid reflux or not. There's another aspect to this. It doesn't make a difference if you have acid reflux, The drug, Prilosec, Nexium, whatever it is, will help indigestion and heartburn, but it doesn't do much of anything. Much of anything. If you have a bad raspy voice, or you have nodules, or you have a bad voice, it's failing on you. They've medicalized our voices with the best of intentions, trying to do you, which means that you can't do it for yourself. You need something outside of yourself. And I'm differing with my medical colleagues and the academicians who go along with the refluxing of America. What you have to do is hum your way back to the right voice. You do it in private. If you do that, you'll feel the buzz up there. A fellow by the name of Emil Freschels, back years ago, figured out how to get the buzz in the face, and he called it the chewing method. So when you were talking with people, you would chew, and that would get the buzz in your face. It really did do that, but it was offensive to people. It's like the yawn sigh, which is used, and yawn sigh, it's very nice, and it can work, but it's indirect. And it's very difficult to chew in public and to yawn sigh in public. There's another simple, direct way, and it's in a new book that came out, and it's on my website. It's free. You can download the entire book. It's free. You put your voice up in your face, and you say throughout the day when you're talking with people, and you will feel the buzz in your face. You will feel that buzz in your face. You do it naturally and spontaneously. You don't force it. And people will love you. You're validating them. You're telling them. You're listening. People love to be heard. You love to be heard. I love to be heard. It's part of communication. But it avoids the chewing method and the yawn sigh, which I find off-putting. Freschels himself wrote years back that it was impractical to chew in public. Yes, it's impractical. It is impractical, but he had the idea of how to do it, and I came up with the It's a very interesting story about discovering the and I did it while employed at UCLA Medical Center. I helped a young man who had severe pain. He had a contact ulcer of the larynx, which is one of the 3 benign growths, but it has tremendous amount of pain when you try to talk. By doing the technique and talking throughout the day, and talking on that level, and talking on that level, he was able to change his voice from the lower throat to the face, and that was the saving grace. 99% of all our bad voices are in the lower throat. They're in the lower throat. It's hard to say it's that extensive, but that's the reality of it. And if you have the strangled voice, squeezing from the lower throat, all strangled voices, called spasmodic dysphonia medically, are in the lower throat. All. I estimate that 99% of all bad raspy voices are in the lower throat, but they haven't crossed the line to the premalignancies and to spasmodic dysphonia. My medical colleagues believe that premalignancies are caused by a virus. They cite Ullman in 1923. Ullman was right to refer to the virus. A virus can put your voice in the lower throat. Viral pneumonia. It certainly wiped me out, and I was talking like this. But Ullman was well-intentioned but had the wrong take on the cause of papillomatosis. I did a PhD dissertation under the aegis of the medical division, UCLA Medical Center, and showed that this premalignancy is associated and related and tied to talking in a lower throat. So you can beat it. And I have cases that are in the book, Curing Hopeless Voices, which is free. You download it from my website, by individuals who had biopsied papillomatosis and were cured of the condition by what I do call direct voice rehabilitation. It's a very interesting go about how to change the voice, and it's rather simple as to how to do it. Take the voice out of the lower throat and get the feel before you do all of that by humming the first bar of Happy Birthday. Get the sensation of what you want to do rather than talk all the way down here. And then throughout the day, talk off the and talk on it and hum your way to a normal voice. But this is all natural, and it doesn't involve needles, it doesn't involve Botox, it doesn't involve acid reflux drugs. There's a problem in our society. It's a do-me society, which is fine. You want somebody to do something to you. Or you can do something for yourself by just placing your voice back into your face. And talking on that right, and talk up there. And you'll feel the buzz. The buzz is in your face. That's the saving grace of all good and great voices. When you hear a voice that you like, it has that buzz. When you hear a voice like this, Michael Eisner talks like that. Paulson, the Secretary of the Treasury, talks like that. Paul Newman talks like that. It doesn't have to involve medicalization. It involves all natural help. Nature is very willing to help you if you just hum the first bar of Happy Birthday. You'll feel it. Who killed our voices? Who took our voices away? 99% of our voices are in the lower throat. If you use acid reflux, you're not going to change the bad habit, the bad use of the voice. If you use Botox to paralyze the vocal cords or relax them, as my medical colleagues say, they say it relaxes, I say it paralyzes. It's a roller coaster ride if you have the strangled voice or any other problem. You go in and out, and they like to use the Botox if you have the strangled voice 4 to 10 times a year, each and every year for life, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a Botox shot, and they will tell you if you have the strangled voice, it's incurable, and they will guarantee that on their medical websites and in all academia that I know of. I differ with my medical colleagues and with my fellow academicians and indicate that you can get out of bad voices by simply changing the focus of your voice to your face. Keep in mind what I said about driving the car. It's like you have the full brake on. When you talk in the lower throat, you have the full brake on. When you talk up in the face, the brake is gone. You should learn midsection breath control too. It's very simple. It's very simple. And midsection breath control gives you control of the air going over your vocal cords, which you need to have the sound and the support that nature wants you to have. We live in a society that seems to complicate rather than simplify. We live in a society today that I find medicalizes what isn't a medical problem. And if you can place your voice up in your face, you're doing yourself an essential favor of being at one with nature and relaxing your body and having a voice that's heard, liked, and listened to. Keep in mind the body snatchers did not take your voice away. If you're one of the 25% of the population that's having bad, raspy voices, nodes, polyps, contact ulcers of your vocal cords, you may be having surgery. The surgery only takes out the symptom. It doesn't cure the misuse. And if you have acid reflux, you're just palliating. Namely, you're not getting to the cause. The cause of our bad, raspy voices are premalignancies of benign growths such as nodes, polyps, and contact ulcers, and papillomatosis, and keratosis, and leukoplakia. Is that we're misusing our voice often enough that we're creating the problem that we're going to the medical doctors. And incidentally, from what I understand, there are no cures of papillomatosis in the medical world or in the academic world. But I have, with my dissertation and follow-up over the years, shown that this condition is curable by direct voice rehabilitation, all natural. Most people are going to opt for surgery, but the problem is that when you do surgery for papillomatosis, you exacerbate, you make it worse. And the growth keeps coming back and back and back, so you have to have more surgery and more intervention. It makes sense to me to change the way you're using your voice if you have the mindset to understand that you may well be creating your own voice problem without knowing it. It's not the invasion of the body snatchers and our voice being snatched from us from outer space. It's happening because we're misusing the way we talk. Voice suicide is a term I use for the misuse. It's all over the dial. If you tune into television for a short while, listen to people on the radio, listen to people talking with you, the bad, raspy voice is everywhere. People will tell you that they can't seem to get out of it, and they've tried medical doctors, the best in the field, ear, nose, and throat doctors. They've not tried all natural voice rehabilitation. I'm Mort Cooper. Change your voice, change your life. Who killed our voices? Maybe you ought to think about the fact we do it to ourselves. Thank you for joining with me. Bye-bye.